When it comes to gaming, I gravitate toward titles across a wide variety of genres. Everything from narrative-heavy and decision-based games like Life is Strange and Baldur's Gate 3 to horror titles like Silent Hill and Resident Evil. My favorite games always present challenges like puzzles or difficulty spikes that require me to think critically or try new strategies to get through it. Despite this, the thought of playing a Souls-like game never crossed my mind. Then I played the remake of Resident Evil 3 on Nightmare difficulty. The difficulty presented a variety of challenges, but none hit as hard as the final Nemesis fight. Perfect dodging had gone from a cool mechanic to a critical one, and I realized quickly that I needed to learn his attack pattern and react accordingly, dodging and dodging and dodging until I had my short attack window. Lather, rinse, repeat. It took me 5.5 hours, but I finally got through it, feeling a massive wave of relief wash over me when I pushed that final battery in and ran as fast as I could to get back to the railgun.
Please, please, I've earned this! Please, game, I've earned this! I've earned this! Jill, I need you to run faster. Please, 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 please.
As the victory cutscene played, I had one singular thought. I could probably handle a Souls game. It took 1 year and a Baldur's Gate 3 Duo Honor attempt that died at the finish line.
Well, we got this far.
But I finally crossed the fog to the lands between, with intent to stand before the Elden Ring. My first steps into the lands between involved a lot of button mashing to figure out what all my controls were, picking up items wherever they presented themselves, and what would become my favorite activity of all throughout the game: reading messages other players have left for me to discover.
In short, good luck. Thank you.
And after a little running around and leaving no stone unturned, it was time to approach my first wall of mist. Little did I know what was waiting to ambush me.
Oh god, music start. Oh no! Oh no!
No amount of panic dodging could save me from the inevitable first death of the game that all players come to experience before progressing.
Dodge, 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 go, 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 go! You know what, we're gonna, nope, I can't, okay, ah! Oh, okay. Well, first death's out of the way.
An important lesson that I embraced as I ran through the tutorial and definitely didn't die to Soldier of Godric. No, why would I do that? Listen, it's my first Souls game, okay? It took me 3 years to move from assisted to hardcore on Resident Evil. It's gonna take me a minute to get good here. After the tutorial, I would take my first steps into Limgrave, where the locals gathered to either roast me,
unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless,
or murder me.
Ah! Damn it. Yeah, I'm not fighting that thing yet.
Amid my exploration of the area, which involved either killing or being killed, I met a couple of helpful characters like Melina, who offered me a new ride.
I offer you an accord.
Okay.
And the long-awaited ability to put my money where my skills are. I also met Rena the Witch, who heard about my new ride and offered me a nifty little trinket in turn.
Ooh. Lone Wolf Ashes.
'Tis a bell for calling forth spirits.
Ooh, so
Summon
I
them
can
with
have
it.
help now.
From ash and return to the Erdtree.
With a steed to traverse the lands between and a way to call in reinforcements to assist in fights, I continued the great adventure of exploration around Limgrave, where I met several interesting creatures.
Oh god! What the No. Sorry, wrong neighborhood, Ah! No. I'm just gonna walk away.
After discovering Stormvale and getting flattened like a pancake by a troll, I decided maybe I should run around a little more, get a better lay of the land, and level up my stats a bit. A nearby cave caught my eye, where I would end up taking on my first Elden Ring boss.
Okay, well, might as well jump in.
Beastman of Farum Azula was an interesting first fight to get into. He had a mix of quick and delayed attacks, and had me switching up my items and trying to learn parrying, which never really took off like it probably should have. And while using a shield to tank certain hits was a great idea in theory, I didn't realize it pushed me from medium equip load to heavy, and I was fat rolling the whole time. It's only my second day here as a Souls gamer. I learned eventually. After several unsuccessful attempts, I managed to squeeze in enough hits with my greatsword to claim victory over the Beastman.
Finally! Finally, I did it! I just needed to beat the shit out of him.
On days 3 and 4 of my adventure in the lands between, I ran into the worst foe of them all. Tech issues. I have my Spotify audio split on OBS so it won't save to my Twitch VODs, and I can play music without fear of copyright strikes. What I didn't know was that when I updated my OBS the day before, it placed my audio for the game where my Spotify audio goes. So none of the game audio from those streams saved to my VOD, and I didn't realize until much later. The most significant things that happened were me showing my community some places I had found off stream, with the help of a dear friend who guided me around so I could find points of interest without triggering any significant conversations or cutscenes, and a boss fight. We'll get there, don't worry. We started off in a coastal cave, where we met with a familiar face, Bach.
Who are you? Bach?
It turns out Bach had returned to the cave and had met the wrath of his fellow demi-humans, so naturally, we had to set things right. After cutting our way through the demi-humans guarding the belly of the cave, we charged in to take on the chief.
That's gotta be the main one, right? Yep. Oh god.
I was expecting a boss fight here, and I definitely got it.
Oh god. There's so many of them!
What I didn't bank on was there being 2 demi-human chiefs.
Ow!
Surprise, motherfucker!
Ah! There's 2?! What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Ah!
After several blows to my body and ego, I was ready to turn tail and come back later.
I was like, oh, okay, this is the boss, and there's some guys. And I was like, oh, wait, there's 2. Never mind.
But my chat helped remind me of an important mechanic in Souls games, which is that the entire point is to die again and again until you finally get past the challenge in front of you. So, after looking at all the tools in my tool belt, I ran back into that cave with some wolves at my side.
Okay, that's one. Where's the other? Oh, there he is. Oop. Woo! Okay. Good boys.
Going back to Bach, we gave him the sewing needle, helping remind our friend of the better parts of his life and giving him enough strength to get back up and keep going. Back on the surface of Limgrave, we wandered up to a portal and stepped through, ending up in Australia? I mean, look at the size of that guy.
I don't think I should be here.
Anyway, back to Limgrave, where we take an elevator deep beneath the world's surface into one of the most jaw-dropping, beautiful environments I've ever had the pleasure of stepping into in gaming. Shifra. Right away, Shifra taught me some valuable lessons. Like how elevators don't reset when you die.
Why wasn't the elevator there?
That just because the enemies look different doesn't mean they'll suddenly be friendly.
Ooh, what's over here? Are you guys friends? Oh, you're not friend. You're not friend.
And that sometimes it's best to lure enemies out one at a time rather than take on multiple and end up getting ambushed.
Ow. 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 Oh, god damn it. Not three of you.
After clearing out this little area, I had the opportunity to light the flame on a pillar. One of 8 in the area, which would eventually lead to fighting my first great enemy boss of the game, the Ancestor Spirit.
Oh boy. Well, let's do it. All right, let's go. Let's traverse the mist.
The Ancestor Spirit was an interesting fight. The music captivated me, and I found myself carefully assessing the boss's moveset while figuring out my best heal and attack windows, and feeling out what hits I could tank in the process. My first attempt went on for several minutes as I whittled down his health to around 20% before I ended up dying.
Ow! Ah, that was close. That was so close.
My second attempt wasn't as consistent, but my third was, despite trying out Spirit Ashes and coming to the dawning realization that the boss AI would melt any summons I brought with its magic fire breath. No matter, because the 5th try saw me applying all my knowledge gained at that point and coming out the other side victorious.
I did it! I did it! Oh my god. That was my 5th attempt and I did it! Oh, let's go collect all my runes that I lost, which is 0 because I died 4 times. But I did it! Ah!
Back in Limgrave, I made my way to Fort Height by the request of Kenneth Height to take back control of the fort and help him out. My trusty wolves and I made quick work of the enemies, including the Mad Pumpkinhead. And after clearing the area, I collected some treasures, including half of a Dectus medallion. Spoiler alert, I ended up taking the long way to Altus, but that's another video for another time. I returned to Kenneth to claim my prize.
Alright, what do I get? Ooh.
A dagger that I will never use. But honestly, the prospect of having options is never a bad thing. Back on my adventure, I found a village flooded by water and crawling with undead, including Kyron?
I feel like you do magic. Do you do magic? What's up? Hi. Oh my god, you're a boss? Okay.
Okay, so his name probably isn't Kyron. I didn't get a chance to ask him because he immediately started to attack me.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, okay, that's not too bad.
What is it with all these beings here just immediately wanting to kill me? Is the art of conversation dead? Well, maybe not. But the Tibia Mariner sure is.
Good job, puppies. Extra treats. Death root. Woo. I can have a skeleton army now.
Still avoiding Stormvale Castle, I headed east toward Caelid, where I encountered a very bloodthirsty adversary, Anastasia.
So here's the thing, right? I'm curious, but I'm also 100% gonna die if I get too close. Oh! I'm being invaded!
It took me a couple of attempts, but after defeating her, I decided to explore a little bit until I noticed a very bizarre-looking bird beyond a burning wall.
Oh, worse. It's a bird. I feel like I shouldn't be here. This is all I'm saying.
You know, this area isn't going anywhere. I'll come back later. Before day 5 of my playthrough, I took some time off stream to do exploration and tag as many sites of grace around Limgrave as I could, which included the Castle Ward Tunnel. Behind me were some soldiers of Godric defending the place, and ahead was an open doorway that screamed, "Big scary boss fight arena" to me. If the bloodstains weren't an indication, the glowing gold summoning sign was. I am an explore every nook and cranny before charging and swinging type of person, so I wanted to save that for later and decided to head south toward the Weeping Peninsula. I talked to Irina, who told me of Castle Morn to the south and how her father remained there with the servants who had begun to revolt and kill everyone present. I agreed to deliver a letter in the hopes to reunite father and daughter and set off toward the castle.
How do I get that bonkin' weapon? Anyway, yeah, I'll deliver the letter.
My ancestral follower Spirit Ash and I made quick work of the enemies just ahead. It's wonderful to not be on the receiving end of this guy's arrows, and I'm growing fond of him, so I named him Conan. After some exploration around the area, I made my way toward Castle Morn, where I encountered my first night cavalry fight.
Ow, 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 ow. Okay. Ow, ow.
This world continues to amaze me. I'm so used to games that have exploration, but it doesn't truly feel open. In Baldur's Gate 3, you're limited to the axe, and you can't return to early game areas after a certain point. And in Resident Evil, you can only explore so much of an area before you have to move on to the next zone, the next enemies, the next puzzles and bosses. The fact that Elden Ring gives you boss fights of varying degrees, and some of them only spawn in depending on the time of day, is so cool to me. Stumbling across things like this makes me feel truly immersed in the world, like it's this living, breathing thing around me that I just happen to exist in. Speaking of cool, this Night Cavalry is awesome. I love the music, I love its moveset, and it definitely feels like a fair fight for the level I'm at. I only did one attempt here because I was eager to get to the castle, but I can't wait to come back and try again. Some messages on the ground told me of a map ahead and warned of a giant. And the massive projectiles coming my way were enough to have me retreating.
Oh boy. Well. They do not want me to get that map. Oh, shit.
After sneaking past the golem who was sniping me from halfway around the world, I made my way into Castle Morn, where I encountered new enemies. These macabre demonic cherubs called Misbegottens.
So there's a pumpkin head guy right there. Ow, ow, ow. Ow, ow, ow. Ow, ow, ow.
I gotta be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of these guys. One-on-one they're fine, but as a group, forget about it. On the castle ramparts, I cut through more Misbegotten and made my way to the biggest challenge I will ever face in Elden Ring: platforming.
So here's the thing, right? I'll line up my camera what I feel is pretty exact, and then I'll drop and I'll just miss the thing. My first death today was to platforming, so there you have it. All right, let's drop. Okay. Oh boy. Yes, I am the only person. I am an imitable. I am an original. I'm the only person who's died to platforming in this game.
I'm not joking. I mean, it works out here, but throughout this game, I am constantly missing jumps, slipping off 1 pixel wide beams, hitting my mark, then bumping off of it and falling to my death. I have a death counter for my playthrough, and I wish I had a separate counter for platforming deaths because, good God, it's comical at this point. Once I got through the platforming and the rats, it was time to take on the big boss of the castle, Leonine Misbegotten.
Alright, gamers. Alright, people in the Elden Ring world, now is the time to appraise my messages. Ow. Please. Please. Ow.
This one took me another 5 attempts to get through. A friend told me during these early Elden Ring streams that as a new Souls player, I don't have any bad habits I need to break, and I'd argue that at this point, I've developed the bad habit of panic dodging. I panic dodge a lot. The enemy moves and I immediately start hitting that dodge button until my stamina runs out, which therein lies the problem. Once my stamina is gone, I'm vulnerable and open to attacks, and this guy does not hold back. He can get from one side of the arena to the other in the blink of an eye, and his sword can whittle down my health just as quick.
What I like about this, right, is that I know when I'm messing up and why I'm messing up, and I know how to fix it.
By my 3rd attempt, I had pinpointed that in addition to panic dodging, I dodged too early and I'm too impatient when it comes to getting my hits in. But I never got tilted. I just looked for opportunities to get better. On the final attempt, I summoned in Conan to serve as a distraction to give me windows to heal as needed and to be some solid backup. And solid backup he was, proving to be a decent sniper who pulled attention right when I needed him to.
Ow! Conan! Heal me.
With the grafted greatsword taken as my reward, I left Castle Morn to make my way toward my inevitable next destination in Limgrave, Stormvale Castle. But first, I have a score to settle. The Tree Sentinel has been haunting me since I set foot into this world. Every time I go to visit my merchant friend Kale, there's the Tree Sentinel just stomping around with his horse. I don't think I'll ever be able to move forward from Limgrave until I put this guy in the ground. I mean, he poisoned our water supply, burned our crops, and set a plague upon our houses. Okay, so he didn't do that, but are we gonna wait around until he does? I strolled up to this guy, sword in hand, ready to swing. And he put me into the ground again.
Panicked.
And again, and again. After a few attempts, I had gotten to the point where I wanted to use spirit ashes, if for no other reason to ensure I wasn't the only one getting my ass handed to me on a gilded platter. The wolves were funny but ineffective overall. The skeletal militiamen, however... I know these spirit ashes are no mimic tier, but the fact that they can regenerate after being put down if the enemy doesn't double tap them ended up being a saving grace for me. They're doing next to no damage to the guy, but in the small window of time he takes to kill them, I have a pocket to heal. Pair that with the Reduvia's combination of bleed and piercing damage, and I have the perfect symphony of destruction. I cut it pretty close at the end, but ultimately rose victorious over the Tree Sentinel, claiming its golden halberd as my prize.
Eat dirt, bitch! First try. Exactly, first try. First try.
With the Tree Sentinel bested, it was time to head back to Castle Morn. In all the excitement of going toe-to-toe with Misbegotten and fighting an area boss, I had completely forgotten to deliver the letter to Edgar. I found him at the top of a tower, and after exchanging a few words in the letter, he gave me a stick and vowed to reunite with his daughter, Irina.
I'm no longer bound by duty. Once I've rescued Irina, I will spend my remaining days with her.
Yeah, I have bad news about that.
While Edgar went off to have a happy family reunion, I continued on my voyage around Limgrave and encountered a few boss fights. The Cemetery Shade, the Erdtree Avatar, and the Erdtree Burial Watchdog. After claiming some treasures and leveling up a little bit, I couldn't put off the inevitable any longer. It was time to make my way to Stormvale Castle, where I would meet my first story boss of the game.
Foul tarnished. In search of the Elden Ring. Emboldened by the flame of ambition.
I forgot this game had cutscenes. Every boss I fight, it's just... Oh. Oh, it's like that. Oh, it's like that.
Must extinguish thy flame.
Guys, I don't think I'm ready for this.
Be Margit the Fell.
I don't think I'm ready for this. Okay, lock on. Lock on. That's not locking on.
Right off the bat, this guy's presentation, 10 out of 10. I mean, he astral projects in, calls me out on the spot, declares that I need to be stopped, superhero lands 5 feet in front of me and says he'll be the one to do it. And if that's not enough, he smack talks me through the whole fight.
Thou art of passing skill. Warrior
Phase 2 already? Ooh.
His weapon kit is wild too. Big club that has massive reach? Check. Throwing daggers that deal holy damage? Check. A big holy hammer smiting me from on high? Check. He's knocking down trees, he's crossing the arena in 2 seconds to smack the crap out of me, he's jumping back to avoid my attacks, he knows exactly when I'm going to start healing and you can bet he's punishing me for it. Despite all of these things and the pressure of facing the first story boss of the game, I dealt out blow after blow to Margit, pushing him to phase 2 and whittling him down to about 30% health before he sent me back to the nearest site of grace.
I can kill him. I can absolutely kill this guy.
There are multiple moments throughout playing Elden Ring where I've gone, oh yeah, I get it. But I think this is the first moment where I really felt that excitement, knowing that I was face to face with a boss that I had to defeat to move forward, and I was so close to beating him. I knew in my soul I had the skills to get past him, I just had to use them. Ow. The second run was off to a strong start. I got hit a couple of times, I hit Margit a few times, and managed to get a poise break while standing in front of him.
Shut up!
With phase 2 triggered, Margit was not holding back.
Lock back on, heal.
Passing skill. Warrior blood must run thy veins. Tarnished.
I got punished for getting too cocky initially and scrambled to heal so I could get more hits in. I would get close, he would make distance. I would try to take advantage of this, and he'd punish me for it.
Heal.
Despite this, I was confident. I'd look for windows to hit or heal. I'd let him get through his attacks and take the split-second moments I had to deal damage. If he was too far to feel my blade, I'd throw my Ash of War at him. He'd hit me, I'd hit him, and after a lucky jump to avoid his hammer from on high, I swung my sword one last time and said goodbye to Margit the Fell Omen.
I shall remember thee, tarnished.
Are you kidding me?
Thy meager flames, coward. The hands of the fell omen shall brook thee no quarter.
Guys! That was my second attempt. Are you kidding me?
At this point, the Elden Ring veterans in my community informed me that Margit is the first major roadblock for new players who try to seize Stormvale Castle too early in their run. They're either underleveled, overconfident, or a dangerous mixture of the two, and the idea is to get your ass kicked until you leave to go explore the Weeping Peninsula, get in a few more fights, level up your character, and come back for revenge. At this point, I'm on my 6th day of playing the game, and I don't have any prior Souls experience, so a lot of my decision making and progression is based largely off of my experience playing games like Resident Evil 4 and Baldur's Gate 3. I wanted to explore as much of Limgrave as I possibly could before going to Stormvale, because Stormvale felt like a huge end-of-area place to go, and I didn't know at the time you could freely revisit Limgrave after progressing to new areas, and even making huge in-game decisions that would alter landscapes. My commitment to learning the rhythm of the game and its mechanics ended up being a massive boon here. With Margit defeated so quickly, I felt more than capable of taking on whatever challenges lied ahead of me. Now, I knew Margit wasn't going to be the only thing trying to keep me back from entering Stormvale. Approaching the big iron gate, I was greeted with messages warning of death ahead, and beyond the barrier, I could see a myriad of swordsmen and guards manning ballistas. Valuing my life and my sanity, I moved through the door to my left and met an interesting fellow named Gostic.
Oh, try the opening right here. The guards don't know about it. You'll breach the castle undetected.
He warned me of the small army ahead and recommended an alternate route into the castle, which I was happy to take. Avoiding danger? Sign me up.
Ow. Ow. Ow.
Once I got past the government drones, Stormhawks, I made my way into the castle, dispatching enemies left and right. After finding a dead end, I went through a door and ended up getting locked in a cage match with a knight for 3 minutes!
Uh-oh.
Okay, more like 3 seconds. I claimed a talisman and a key, I unlocked a door, and I made my way forward. Later on, a friend told me that Gostic locked me in that room and that if you die at all in Stormvale, he takes 30% of your runes that you drop. What a jerk. After unlocking a door and scaling a ladder, I continued my exploration of Stormvale. Suffice to say, it took me a while, and I didn't get through it all before the final boss of the area. I did end up backtracking later on because I wanted to get the full experience, and holy crap, this place is massive. This is the first Legacy Dungeon player's experience in the game, and it was my first Legacy Dungeon ever. Despite my anxieties around platforming in this game, I had a blast jumping from rooftop to rooftop, picking up various treasures, and finding different paths around the castle. After me and my 5 closest demi-human friends beat up an unsuspecting old man and his dog, I moved closer to the boss arena. Upon discovering that it connected to the main gate of Stormvale, I took the opportunity to explore a little and met a new ally.
Well, who do we have here? Tarnished, are you? Clearly not one of Godric's lot. I am Nefeli Lu. Tarnished and warrior, like you.
I love
here
her
by decree of
already.
my father. How utterly repellent this is. This grafting of Godric's ill befits a lord. He's tainted the very winds.
I had the opportunity to summon Nefeli for the fight against Godric the Grafted, but I wanted to try the fight on my own a few times, and boy, am I glad I did to fully immerse myself in exactly what was going on.
Oh, another cutscene? Okay.
Mighty dragon. Thou the true born heir.
I swear to God, if you make this dragon come to life,
Kindred,
and I have to fight him and you.
deliver me unto greater heights. Well,
Hello. Hi. Oh.
lowly tarnished,
Oh.
plain as a lord.
Oh, that's why they were cutting hands
I
off.
command thee, kneel! I am the lord of all that is golden.
Oh. Oh, she was talking about Godric.
I used to write for a living, and I don't have the words to describe Godric and this fight. Cuckoo bananas? Insane in the membrane? Yeah, something like that. If Margit could punish me for being too close or too far away, Godric makes me regret just existing in the same airspace as him. It makes sense he has every Stormvale Ash of War, but as a Stormblade enjoyer, it hurts getting smacked with my own nonsense. He's got 2 axes to grind with me, and he's mobile and agile as hell, probably from all the extra limbs. He can hit me from across the map, and he can absolutely destroy me up close, and that's just phase 1. Phase 2 is, well,
Truest of
If that thing
dragons,
wakes up, I swear to God.
lend me thy strength.
Oh, it's even worse. Okay. 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 It's fine. He's got a dragon for an arm, but I've got a big bonker. I've got a big bonker. Uh-oh. Oh, wait, why am I healing? Why am I hitting my heal button?
Godric is the first boss where I started to feel like I was hitting a wall, and at this point, I had been playing the game for 7 hours with very few breaks. I also still had a bad habit of wanting to run headfirst into a fight and just hit the boss as much as I could before I would ever start to consider learning the moves.
Ow. Oh, okay.
This is exactly what helped me continue building that wall as I got absolutely obliterated by Godric again.
Oh.
Lord unfit even to graft.
And again. I'm dead. Shit. And again. That was so close. I considered swapping to different weapons, but decided to stick with the greatsword I had been using since raiding the Gatefront ruins. I was so used to the timing of its attacks and made the executive decision that it was better to stick to what I knew and tried learning what I didn't know. One thing that kept tripping me up was the delayed attacks in Phase 1. As soon as Godric raised his axe in the air, I expected it to swing down into my skull, and not the 2 seconds of delay that ended up knocking me on my butt more times than I'd care to admit. I also learned that while gaining distance was good to give myself some breathing room to heal, it would be worth it in the long run to learn the dodging pattern on his AoE attacks to remain next to him at all times, making melee attacks more consistent. Now, learning this and applying it are two different things. And while I'd like to say I took all of this into account and became more intentional with my offense and defense, I still fell into patterns of panic dodging and panic swinging. By attempt number 7, I was ready to accept a helping hand in the fight, and who better to bring in than my first NPC summon, Nefeli Lu. Right off the bat, things were going well. In Phase 1, mine and Nefeli's combined efforts netted a poise break on Godric, which I didn't take advantage of because I forgot the button to crit and I was still learning the concept of crit spots on enemies. But that doesn't matter, we got him to Phase 2. It took a couple more tries at Godric to get through it. I learned the hard way that the boss gets iframes whenever it does a grab attack on either you or a cooperator, so despite me trying to take advantage of Nefeli Lu becoming a dragon's appetizer, little came of it. After Nefeli Lu died in the fight, I traded blows with Godric for a couple of minutes, healing through attacks just in the nick of time and getting him down to a whopping 15% before I perished. While getting so close to killing a challenging boss and still not getting there would have put me in a sour mood previously, it only motivated me here. That was a really strong attempt in my book, and if the past 6 days have taught me anything, it's that I can absolutely kill this guy. Ugh. Alright. Attempt number 9 started off a little scuffed, with me trying to tab the right flask in so I could heal and accidentally de-equipping my sword. It took me a few moments to realize I was now trying to straight up punch Godric in whatever grafted limbs I could reach, and while I have no doubt it'd be satisfying to sucker punch this guy, it's not very effective. Having Nefeli Lu present gave me a window to right a couple of wrongs, and I was back in the fight, doing my best to knock him into Phase 2, and intent on getting through it one way or another. Now, I'd love to say this attempt was the best one I've had in the fight, that I was locked in, that I knew the attacks well enough to keep a calm head and utilize my attack windows to my full advantage. But that'd be a lie. This was less than perfect, absolutely. It could have definitely been cleaner, but I was insistent on putting Godric in the ground one way or another. I didn't even technically have to get past this fight. The player only needs to defeat 2 Shardbearer bosses to get into Lindell, and you can get to Liurnia and beyond without ever setting foot in Stormvale. But at this point, it felt like I'd be cheating myself if I just gave up. If I gave up, Godric would win. He would remain in this castle, grafting himself until there was no one left around the lands between to graft, and then what? I couldn't let that happen. Plus, I made a promise to myself that I'd try to do as much content as I could on my first playthrough. I owed it to myself to get through this fight one way or another. With Godric at 20% health, he wasn't pulling any punches. I ended up in the Dragon's Maw again. But with 4 healing flasks and my physics still in play, I knew I had a chance here. Maybe I couldn't dodge every attack, but if I timed things right, I could tank enough hits and deal back enough damage to prove victorious. I had him down to the smallest sliver of health. 1 hit, and I never have to see his face or hear his voice again.
That's fine. Hit him.
I am the Lord of all that is golden. And one day, we'll return together to our home, bathed in rays of gold.
I feel like I could have done that better, but I got through it, and that's what matters, right? Right?
Killing Godric left me feeling a variety of emotions. Relief, for one, that I completed all of Stormvale in the span of 4 hours. Joy, because I finally beat him back hard enough. And a weird sense of emptiness. At this point, I was pretty much done with Limgrave in under a week. At the time, I didn't know just how massive the game was, and I was worrying that I was moving through the landscape too fast. You only ever get one first playthrough of a game, and Elden Ring was quickly becoming a favorite of mine. What if I finished the game too fast? With Godric defeated, I was ready to close the chapter on Stormvale. I learned more about the lore around Godric as a shard bearer by reading about his great rune and remembrance. A feeble man sought power through the grotesque act of grafting. One day we'll return together to our home bathed in rays of gold. Well, I sent you there. I could have sent you there sooner, but you insisted on killing me. And I stopped by the Round Table Hold to talk with a variety of NPCs there, including some familiar faces.
Oh my god, hi.
You again. I thought you'd receive a summons to the Round Table. Nefeli Lu. We met at Stormvale.
You
I'm glad
helped
to
me
see you
kill
here.
Godric.
I have something for you. I found it in Godric's grafting grounds. You defeated him. You should have it. Make good use of it. I don't intend to make a habit of scavenging corpses.
And that's it for Limgrave. Suffice to say, this was the perfect area to hook me. I didn't know it at the time, but I was just dipping my toes into the water, with so much more ahead of me to discover.
Ow! Ow! And all of that hurt. Ah! Stop it!